In the heart of London, amidst the bustling streets filled with a diverse crowd, stood a quaint restaurant known as Tasty Bites. This charming eatery had earned a beloved reputation for its intricate dishes and exceptional service. The soft glow of warm lights illuminated the rustic decor, painting a cozy haven amidst the city's hustle and bustle. Jack, a young waiter in his early 20s, had been working at Tasty Bites for 6 months. With shaggy dark hair, a charming grin, and an air of confidence, some would say arrogance, Jack fancied himself a star in the making within the culinary world. He believed that wit and humor were his strongest suits, which he deployed with bravado at the expense of the customers who frequented the restaurant. As the clouds began to gather one rainy evening, Jack took his position, ready to conquer another bustling dinner shift. The waitstaff hustled about, taking orders, serving food, and delivering that all-important customer service. The atmosphere buzzed with chatter, laughter, and the tantalizing aroma of gourmet dishes wafting from the kitchen. A few moments later, the door creaked open, and in walked a young man. He was slightly overweight, with round spectacles perched on his nose and a welcoming smile on his face. His name was Max, and he had a love for art and food alike. Wearing a comfy hoodie and jeans, he scanned the menu posted outside, excited about his first meal in such a well-reputed restaurant. "Table for one." Sarah, the hostess, greeted him with a warm smile. Yes, please," Max replied, trying to hide both his anticipation and nerves. As Sarah led him to a cozy table in a corner, Jack noticed Max's entrance. Seizing the opportunity to entertain his co-workers, Jack sidled up to the table with a mischievous grin. "Wow, looks like we've got a big one coming in tonight," he announced with a laugh. The other waitstaff chuckled, and a few patrons nearby couldn't help but overhear. Max's cheeks turned a shade of crimson. "What do you mean?" he asked, trying to maintain his composure. "I mean," Jack continued unabashedly, "are you ready to tackle our Mega Burger Challenge? I'd hate to see you roll out of here." Laughter erupted around him, a mixture of surprise and amusement. "Jack, come on," Sarah scolded softly, but Jack waved her off, too caught up in his moment of glory. Max's heart sank. "I just wanted a meal," he murmured under his breath, his smile faltering. But he quickly plastered on a brave face. "I think I'll manage," he replied politely, fighting back embarrassment. As Max placed his order for the famous burger and fries, Jack shamelessly continued his banter, leaning in closer. "Just remember, if you don't finish, we charge double. Can't go wasting food, right?" Max flinched, but held his ground. "Right. I think I'll be fine," he replied quietly, forcing a smile as he looked down at the menu. Jack chuckled again, reveling in the perceived superiority of his wit. Throughout the evening, Jack continued to mock and make light of Max's presence, often speaking loudly enough for nearby customers to join the laughter at Max's expense. "So, the special tonight is the Hungry Hippo. I think we should have named it after you, Max." By now, Max felt thoroughly defeated. He picked at his food when it arrived, wishing he could just disappear. The tables around him erupted in laughter, and Jack beamed with pride, convinced that he was the life of the party. In the back of the restaurant, oblivious to the unfolding drama in the dining area, Victor, Max's father and co-owner of Tasty Bites, watched with interest as he mingled with loyal customers. Victor was a man of warmth and kindness, always striving to create a welcoming environment for his patrons. He prided himself on teaching his son the importance of respect and empathy, and at that moment he was unaware of the hurt his son was experiencing. After a fleeting moment of comfort, Victor caught wind of the joke swirling around Jack. He overheard the phrase, "Hungry Hippo," and instinctively turned to investigate. A sense of unease began to bubble in his chest as he spotted Max's discomfort, sitting in silence while Jack's laughter echoed around him. "Jack! A word!" Victor called out, summoning him to the side. Jack, brimming with confidence, sauntered toward Victor, expecting praise for his humorous spirit. "Yes, Victor?" What's up? Jack asked, his demeanor light-hearted. I need you to take a moment and reflect, Victor began, his tone suddenly serious. It seems you've lost sight of the values that we promote here. Making fun of customers is not the way to garner loyalty or respect. Jack shrugged dismissively. Oh, come on. It was all in good fun. People love a good laugh, especially when they're enjoying their meals. Victor's eyes narrowed. Do you even know who you're mocking? That young man over there is my son, Max. You've humiliated him in front of everyone. Jack's expression shifted from amusement to shock. Wait, that guy. You're kidding, he mumbled, suddenly feeling the weight of his words crashing down. Victor stood firm. I'm not kidding. This isn't a game, Jack. I expect you to treat every customer with respect, no exceptions. If this continues, we'll have to reconsider whether you'll remain part of this team. Feeling blindsided, Jack stared at Victor, trying to formulate a reply. I didn't know, he finally managed. I thought it was harmless fun. Victor sighed heavily. It's not just about you anymore. It's about creating an atmosphere where everyone feels welcome. I'd advise you to come to terms with that, or your time here may be limited. As Jack retreated back to the floor, he found himself grappling with guilt. The laughter that had once filled him with pride now felt like a heavy burden. The teasing had been a misguided attempt to gain attention, and he instinctively tried to shake off the guilt that lingered. Meanwhile, Max finished his meal in silence, his heart heavy. He was grateful to have a father who cared deeply, but felt overshadowed by Jack's relentless mockery. What could he say when faced with such insensitivity? Wasn't he just another customer in the sea of faces? As the night progressed, the tension in the restaurant escalated. Max tried to forget Jack's jibes, but as their paths crossed again, Jack made one last attempt to save face. So, you finished. You should be proud of yourself. That's no small feat, he called out, but even his own tone felt hollow now, without humor. The paychecks were being settled, and Max decided it was time to leave. He stood and headed toward the door, catching Victor's gaze from across the room. Victor smiled at him with encouragement, proud of his son's strength. As Max walked out, he felt the warmth of the rain on his face, an odd comfort amidst the embarrassment still flooding his mind. Back inside, Jack found himself in a conversation with a few regular customers who had witnessed the entire exchange. You've got to be careful, Jack, one of them warned. You can't just throw jabs at every customer, especially not when they're a part of the family. Yeah, what were you thinking? Another chimed in. You might be funny to some, but that was just cruel. Jack tried to defend himself. I didn't know, all right? I thought it was harmless joking. But the laughter had faded. No one wanted to join him in the jest anymore. The camaraderie that once enveloped him now felt heavy with judgment. Burned by his own insensitivity, Jack felt the darkness of regret creeping into his being. As he finished up his shift, Jack withdrew to the back, reflecting on what had gone awry. He placed his head in his hands. How could he have been so thoughtless? Did the attention he sought really validate his actions at such a price? The next day, much like the last, Jack arrived to find a cold reception from his coworkers. They spoke in hushed tones and avoided eye contact, and he felt utterly alone, haunted by the laughter he once craved. Browsing through the shift assignments, Sarah approached him cautiously. Jack, listen, I know things have been tough, but you have to try to make amends. No one wants you to leave, but it is hard to ignore what's happened. I know, Jack sighed, feeling trapped in a cycle of regret. I have to fix this. I need to talk to Max. Later that afternoon, Jack stood outside the restaurant, watching the rain drizzle against the pavement. He spotted Max taking photographs of the street art that adorned the walls nearby. Summoning his courage, Jack approached. Hey, Max, he called out, hesitating for a moment as their eyes met. Max turned, his initial expression one of surprise, then apprehension. What do you want, Jack? There was a hint of wariness in his tone. I just wanted to say, I'm really sorry. For everything. I mean, the jokes, they were out of line and hurtful. I wasn't thinking. Max studied Jack for a moment, taken aback by the sincerity in his tone. It's fine, man. Just shows how someone can treat another without thinking. No, really, it's not, Jack persisted. I didn't realize the impact of my words. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I'm trying to do better. I could use your help. Maybe you can show me how to be more respectful. Max raised an eyebrow. You want my help? You were the one making fun of me just a few nights ago. I know. I deserve it. But I genuinely want to change. I've been thinking a lot about empathy and understanding. Jack fiddled nervously with his hands. Max sniffed, trying to keep a stern expression, but his curiosity piqued. Okay, if you really mean that. I do, Jack assured him. I'd love to hear about your art. What inspires you? Maybe we can talk. Max hesitated before nodding slowly. I guess I can give you a chance. Just don't expect me to go easy on you. Relieved. Jack smiled. A genuine smile, full of the hope and remorse he held inside. Great! Let's grab a coffee and talk about art. As they walked together toward the cafe, Jack and Max began exchanging stories, taking small steps toward understanding. It was slow progress, a few awkward moments here and there, but their dialogue blossomed like the first buds of spring. Max shared the inspiration behind his artwork, explaining how it reflected the world and its complexities. Jack, in turn, began to share snippets of his own life, the pressures he faced while trying to find his footing in the bustling city. Days turned into weeks, and Jack worked hard to change his ways. He made an effort to uplift his co-workers and the restaurant patrons alike, often leaning on Max to guide him through grace and respect. Max, in turn, took pride in their growing friendship, guiding Jack toward a more empathetic outlook. As the two grew closer, they decided to collaborate on an art night at Tasty Bites, showcasing Max's artwork while bridging the gap between food and creativity. Together, they designed flyers, promoted it on social media, and prepared the restaurant for a busy evening. The night of the event arrived, and the atmosphere buzzed with excitement as patrons swarmed the restaurant, admiring the vibrant artwork adorning the walls. Max stood at the helm, engaging with guests who wanted to know more about each piece. Jack worked alongside him, showcasing dishes while ensuring every customer felt appreciated. Great work, Max! Jack cheered as a patron admired a vibrant piece displaying city life. You've really outdone yourself. Max smiled, warmth filling his heart. And look at you. It feels good to see you in this light. The two continued to work together throughout the night, dancing around the restaurant while interacting with guests, laughing and sharing anecdotes. Jack was no longer the brash waiter who needed to seek laughter at the expense of others. He had transformed into a supporter of Max's journey, fostering an atmosphere of creativity and respect. At the height of the evening, Victor, watching from the side, felt immense pride swelling in his heart. It delighted him to see his son blossoming and forming bonds with someone who had once been a source of embarrassment. Toward the end of the night, patrons began to gather around as Max and Jack prepared to unveil the latest collaborative piece, a vibrant mural created together, symbolizing their journey and illustrating the beauty of respect and friendship against the backdrop of the restaurant. Ladies and gentlemen, Max called out, stepping up with a microphone in hand, tonight isn't just about the food or the art. It's a celebration of personal growth, connections, and the kindness we need in this world. The audience cheered, and Jack couldn't help but place an encouraging hand on Max's shoulder. You've done something incredible here tonight, he said quietly, pride radiating through him. With a ceremonious flair, the two unveiled the mural. The crowd cheered, marveling at the depth and color that represented both their journey and a newfound outlook. As the applause rang in their ears, Jack glanced at Max's smiling face and felt a rush of gratitude. Thanks for giving me a chance, Max. I know I wasn't easy to deal with before, but you've shown me the meaning of respect. Max shrugged modestly, his cheeks a shade of pink as the compliments showered over him. "It feels good to make a difference, doesn't it?" "100%, Jack replied, a new camaraderie growing between them. From that point on, every day at Tasty Bites became a testament to their friendship, compassion, and laughter, transforming the restaurant into a haven for creativity and respect. Epilogue: a lasting legacy. As time went by, Tasty Bites thrived beyond its reputation. The art nights became a staple, and the community embraced the creative union Jack and Max had formed. They collaborated on numerous art projects, mentoring younger artists along the way, bridging a community through kindness. Jack made sure to emphasize empathy as part of the training for the new waitstaff, teaching them not only about great service but also about the importance of respect. Max, with his passion for art, began to make a name for himself, showcasing at well-known galleries across the city, all while using his story to inspire others. The friendship between Jack and Max flourished, built on the foundation of their experiences from that pivotal evening. They often reflected on their journey, the challenges and transformations, the mistakes and friendships that blossomed from adversity. As Victor retired, he looked back fondly on how the restaurant had transformed, from a place of creativity to a community of empathy and understanding. No longer just a restaurant serving dishes, Tasty Bites had evolved into a sanctuary where stories were shared and lives were changed, a place where every voice mattered. In the end, Jack learned that laughter should never come at the expense of another, reinforcing the idea that true strength lies in lifting others up instead. And with each passing day, they continued to embrace respect and friendship as the heart of their lives.